so much to talk about Broncos country and so very little time to talk about it. So we're going to break it up into two separate episodes. Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown presented by Prize Picks. Hanging out with your guy, Moose. Let's start with the most breaking and depressing news. The Broncos and Sean Payton have agreed upon a 5-year contract extension, which will keep him throughout the 2030 season, keeping him step in step with general manager George Payton. Adam Schefter was the first one on it, basically saying exactly what I just told you guys. He's here in Denver. He's going to stay in Denver, and I love this move. I think it is absolutely the smartest thing the Denver Broncos could have done, not only making sure that you are step in step with your GM and your head coach, but Sean Payton is a phenomenal head coach. He is the best adjusting head coach at halftime that I may have ever seen. And I'd have to go back and really rework my brain, come up with a list. Sean Payton would be on it, no doubt, if I had to go back 30-something years. It is the smartest decision you could have made. It really is. Sean Payton is a brilliant schemer. He's a brilliant adjuster. He is one of the best head coaches, top 3 head coaches in the National Football League. I firmly believe that. And, as we'll see later on in today's episode, he's also getting brownie points for giving up play calling to one Davis Webb. Now, we're going to touch on everything, a little Vance Joseph, a little Davis Webb, a little more Sean Payton, but that's why you subscribe. All Denver Broncos news all the time. So hit that subscribe button and that little bell icon for our Noti gang. You never want to miss a time that we post anything. So what do we know about Sean Payton's tenure in Denver? Well, 32-19 regular season record. That's only going to go up when the Broncos win another double-digit win season this upcoming season. Top defenses back-to-back, specifically in the sack department. Number 1 overall seed last season. And, of course, you got Denver out of the Russell Wilson cap hell, or helped get that out of the cap hell. I can't say that it's all on Sean Payton, but he does deserve a large chunk of that credit. Here's another thing you need to know. Over the last 2 seasons, since Bo Chapman-Nix has been your quarterback, Denver has the second most regular season wins in the NFL. I think the only team that has more, if I'm mistaken, is the Buffalo Bills. I think they're the only one that has more than us. But Greg Penner offered a very nice couple of words talking about Sean Payton. I'm going to kind of have to squint at this because I wanted to capture everything that he said, so bear with me if I don't get some of these words right. Go ahead, JD. You can push that through. Sean Payton has led an impressive turnaround over the past 3 seasons, installing a winning culture with high expectations. I appreciate the close partnership he shares with George Payton, along with the alignment and stability across our football operations. We are thrilled for Sean to continue leading our team as head coach, building our progress during such an exciting time for the Denver Broncos. Couldn't have put it better myself. Could not put it better myself. And, believe it or not, he had 2 years on his deal still to go. We just wanted to lock him up because we knew it's not going to get much better than Sean Payton. Sure, is it possible? Anything is possible. But it wasn't very likely. He's the correct man to lead this team to a championship and beyond. Don't outthink the room if you're not a Sean Payton stan or you are a little questioned by this decision. Sean is a top 3 head coach, and even if you don't agree with that, he's certainly top 10. There's no doubt about that in the NFL. Keep your talent inside the building, whether it's a player, whether it's a coach, whether it's a GM or an owner. Keep the organization thriving. That's the most important thing. So if you love that move, you know what you got to do. You got to hit that thumbs up icon. Share the wealth. Let's grow the channel. Put this on more Denver Broncos fans' feeds. Excuse me, that's lunch trying to come back up. Do me a favor, though. Like I said, like today's video and help grow this channel. We got more coming from Vance Joseph and Davis Webb, talking for the very first time as the Broncos offensive coordinator. Before I get to that, though, I got to remind you guys, today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. Look, you saw that game last night. I know you did. I saw it. Pure pandemonium. But it was electric, it was fun, and although I didn't win, I had a lot of fun playing Prize Picks. And you can win real cash, up to 2,000 times your money while watching sports with the Prize Picks app. Now, I have decided to get away from the team picks, because obviously that didn't hit for me last night, and I went with a little bit more of a modern style of picks today, because obviously, you know, the soccer championships are going on right now. So I decided to make a quick little lineup. It's $10 to pay $67.50. I went a little bit lower stakes on this one. That's okay. And you can use the max discount play. Look at this. Passing attempts from Cesar Montes. If you want to get in on this action, use that max discount play, but you can only do it if you download the Prize Picks app today and start playing. Use code HMA to get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Again, that's code HMA to get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It is good to be right. All right, so Sean said right after he was asked about his extension, about Vance Joseph, and Sean believes that Vance will be a head coach again. He almost was this last year. The Cardinals were very interested at the last minute, didn't end up materializing. We get him for one more year. That's the best thing. But I do believe Sean is telling the truth when he says this. Vance is probably going to be a head coach at some point again, especially if he has back-to-back-to-back seasons of the best defense in the NFL. That's something great to put on your resume. Now, he also said this about his coaching staff, that his coaching tree is important to him because it is a byproduct of winning and being successful. He also likes seeing his staff doing well and getting promoted. Thank you, Zach Stevens, for that, my friend. But let's focus on Vance for a second, because we just talked about Sean. Vance is focused on one thing this year. No, it's not winning a Super Bowl. On his side of the ball, he is focused on one thing: creating turnovers. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. The Broncos ended the regular season last year with a -3 turnover differential. I believe that was 24th or 23rd in the National Football League last year. For a team that was the number 1 overall seed, that's not nearly good enough. And get this, if you take into account just how good the Broncos were at getting you off the field, you'd be even more flabbergasted by that. On third down, opponents' third down percentage, they were the second best in the National Football League. The Seahawks were the only team that was better by 1.7%, so almost 2%, so 1.7% better than the Broncos were at getting you off the field. And guess what? Seahawks won the Super Bowl. And they had a higher turnover differential. I don't think it was much. I think they were -1, but I don't know. I'm not the Seahawks host. Either way, get to a positive turnover differential this year, even if it's +1, and you're looking at a very scary reality for opposing teams. I firmly believe that. You do too. If we could gain, call it 6 more turnovers, if we could produce 6 more turnovers, we are looking at a team that could potentially have gone 17-0 last year. That is mind-boggling to think of. So I'm Team Vance Joseph. I think Vance Joseph is going to be even more on top of his game. There's more updates to players, and we'll get to that in another episode because I want to focus on the coaches on this one and the players on another one. Speaking of coaches, first time for everything, Davis Webb speaks as the Broncos offensive coordinator. All good things, kept it very vague, kept it very light. Not a lot of X's and O's talk, just more so about how everything went in terms of him getting the offensive coordinator job and then, of course, calling plays. So in his little, call it minute and a half rambling about what happened, he basically said this. I could summarize it in just these 3 points. He had interviews right after the AFC Championship. He went and interviewed with a couple of teams like the Ravens, the Raiders, of course, who he had head coaching opportunities with. Sean George and Greg Penner all decided to bring him into a room. They sat him down and they said, look, we do not want you going anywhere. We want you staying. What's it going to take? He said, maybe a little bit more cash, a little title upgrade, and of course, I want to call plays. And Sean was like, let's do it. They clearly wanted him in Denver. That's great. And he wants to be in Denver. He said, this is my favorite organization that I've ever been a part of. How does that not make you just like want to run through a brick wall for this guy? You add to it his brilliance as a play caller, as a play designer, as somebody who understands the game of football, a football mind. Davis Webb can be the next Ben Johnson. I see that for him. I see that in his future. There is no guarantee that we're going to keep him. But as long as we've got him, we might as well utilize him. The offense is about to explode. Fireworks, 4th of July. It's coming up pretty soon. And here's why I know this. If we go back to last year, a couple of statistics from Sean Payton. 14th in points scored. Not bad. Top half. Not great. Not great. Not good enough for a team that went 14-3. And they were 15th in yards per play. Again, right in the middle. Top half. Better than top half, actually, if we're considering there are 32 teams. 16th would be right in the middle. But my point is, for a team that is led so aggressively by their defense, you want to see at least one of these get inside the top 10. And get this, though, Broncos country, it doesn't stop there. All of those stats that you just saw on screen, and this was also a stat. The Broncos ranked 19th in total rushing in 2025. A lot of that had to do with the fact that J.K. Dobbins went down in Week 10 after a hip drop tackle against the Raiders. You get J.K. Dobbins back. You get Jalen Waddle. You've added more firepower through the draft. You've got Jonah Coleman. R.J. Harvey in year 2. Players in the wide receiver room are getting better. New tight ends. It is going to be electric. Remember what Sports Illustrated said about Davis Webb, by the way. This goes back to a couple months ago. Based on last year's offense, the Broncos could use major improvements in their downfield passing, middle of the field usage, and running game. With Jalen Waddle in the fold, that alone should help with the Broncos' explosive element of their new look offense. But Webb will have to get with Nix on how to better utilize Evan Ingram when he was woefully underused in 2025. So I came up with my version of the Davis Webb assignments. I broke this down with you guys about 2 months ago. This was right before the draft. Balance the run game frequently now that you've got a three-headed monster. You've got to still have full faith in that offensive line to hold the ground. Limit the screen and swing passes that Sean Payton loved to call. Take calculated shots downfield. And, of course, when in doubt, get your ball to Jalen Waddle, which Davis Webb said himself. He's like, really good. That's what he said. He's really good. And I think that is kind of how we're going to have to leave that there because he is really good. So subscribe for all Denver Broncos breaking news. We've got tons of it. Sean Payton is extended. Awesome to hear. Davis Webb is OC. Awesome to hear. Vance Joseph is DC. Awesome to hear. That's enough clapping for me. All right, that's all I got for you, Broncos country. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button. As always, mile high salute. Be cool.